All right, I'm Mark Meglio with Homebridge Financial Services. I have an office over here at the district facility in the co-work. I live in Guilford, local to the area. You might see on the materials that it says Bloomfield. My branch office is in Bloomfield because I don't have a license attached to this co-work space. So here to talk to you about renovation financing, an often underused, underutilized tool for you realtors. And Homebridge has specialized in renovation financing for the last several years. We were the #1 renovation financing lender for the past 2 years through FHA. So we do it well, and we do it in partnership with you guys. One of the things that we specialize in is we have a renovation team, a concierge team. So it's a team of ladies in New Jersey who handle all the client interaction, all the contractor interaction. They handle all the disbursements. They deal directly with the HUD consultants. So I handle it like a regular loan, as well as you guys. And then after the close, they take the customer from the close to the end of construction period. They deal directly with that customer, one person, for the entire period of time. So it makes disbursements of funds, communication with the contractors, and everything very smooth. Whereas in some cases, it doesn't go quite so smoothly. You're talking to many people. So one of the things that we've done very well, and that makes the process pleasing for you guys. So Dave, I know you mentioned you had some experience with 203Ks. What is the experience level with you guys, the rest of you guys? Never done one? Okay. Nothing. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. So you might have some questions. This is a formal presentation. It's 50 slides. It's brand new. It just came out. I really don't know too much about it yet. I'm sure it's very similar to the other one. So I want questions. You guys come up with something, shoot them at me. Completely informal here. Okay? So renovation financing, obviously an opportunity to turn a home that may be sitting on the market for a long time, needs some work, maybe in a great neighborhood, an opportunity to turn that home into the perfect home for a client. Instead of carting people around to 30 different places because they can't find the exact home that's right for them, well, let's find a home that's an opportunity to make it into a home that's pleasing to a client. So it's an opportunity to sell more homes in less time and make more money for you guys. Little exercise. If you guys have questions for us today, why don't you write them down? And also, we're gonna go over a couple things today to help you through this process. Talk about the 3 misconceptions of renovation loans. Give you an overview of the process. I explained it at a very high level, but we'll go in detail and show you kind of the intricacies of it, and show you some of the benefits of a renovation loan. We're in a tight inventory environment. You guys have heard that a million times. I've heard it a million times. But how can we use the renovation financing to, again, sell more homes in a short amount of time and make you guys more money? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to make more money, right? The average home purchase in 1991 consisted of 1,900 square feet and had 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. 84% of buyers stated that heating and cooling costs were the most important environmental feature they considered. And buyers expect to own their homes for a median of 15 years. There's also been a metric out there that says that the average person owns their home between 7 and 9 years. That's how frequently the turnover rate is. That's what we see in our industry as people are selling or refinancing within 7 to 9 years. Some more NAR facts. Sellers typically lived in their homes for 9 years. In 2018, 44% of sellers offered incentives to attract buyers. Incentives like, are you guys offering home warranties? Stuff like that. Have you guys ever used that? Those have been really effective. With renovation financing, the final sales price was a median of 99% of final listing price. Sellers sold their homes for a median of $55,000 more than their original price, and homes are on the market for a median of 3 weeks, which is a consolidation. It's a great tool for sellers too. If you're having trouble selling your home, is to do a renovation, a quick renovation, to get your house in a better position to then sell it for more money. What about all the properties that don't sell in 3 weeks, properties that have been on the market for 120 plus days? Do we really have an inventory shortage, or we just have a shortage of properties that are just in that premier shape? So that's one thing we got to look at. I mean, you guys are looking at the MLS. I don't have access to MLS, so I don't see the amount of inventory. I don't see the data necessarily on how many houses are on the market, but I see a lot of houses that are, through Zillow and that sort of stuff, that have been on the market for a long time, and some serious opportunities, whether it be in the HUD environment, to make some money. And not, I mean, you're in a different environment. You guys are in a different environment with the flipping aspect of it, but I'm looking at it more from a home buyer's aspect. If you guys are working with buyers specifically, this is an opportunity to find a unique property and make it into something sweet for them. So again, renovation financing can solve the shortage of properties that are in perfect move-in condition. Any questions come up? I'm kind of flying through this because there's a lot of slides and I don't want to get mired in it. What is renovation financing? So it is a 30-year fixed FHA, VA, or conventional mortgage. I've included some paperwork on the table which will show you a quick breakdown of some of those loans and the differences of it. The loan is used to facilitate both the purchase and establish an escrow for required, recommended, or desired improvements to be completed after closing. There's an awful glare right there. As far as qualifying a client for a renovation loan, we qualify them the same as we do any other client. We approve them for a certain amount of money, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and then you guys take that client and go out and try to find them a home. If I approve them for 300,000, and you find a home for 200, they have an extra $100,000 there that they're approved for to do a renovation on a property. So there's a lot of available money in that approval. I recently, we're getting ready to close next week, approved two brothers down in Groton for a property. They bought a two-family for $145,000. They put $113,000 into it. It appraised for $25,000 over their renovation costs. So they got a nice chunk of equity, and they're going to renovate that over the next 6 months. And one of them's going to live in there, and we're going to rent out the top floor. So it was a great investment for him. But we approved him for over $300,000. He started low and got himself into a great deal. So it's cool. Some of the down payment options. So everybody's heard the 203K. That's the FHA renovation program. Fannie Mae has a competing product with that called the Home Style renovation. You may know, you guys familiar with the Fannie Mae Home Ready product? That's a standard Fannie Mae 3% down loan program. The Home Style is just the renovation portion. So you need 5% for the Home Style. If you couple these two together, Home Ready, Home Style renovation, you can go 3%. You're going to pay more on mortgage insurance and that sort of stuff, but it's a great opportunity to get somebody in there quick. There's also an investor Home Style renovation mortgage, larger down payment because the assumption is you're not going to be living there. So you're not paying 25% like a conventional mortgage, but you're paying, you put 15% down. And then you have your FHA 203K, and there are two types, and you'll see that on that form. And then the VA has a renovation option too. It's a refinance essentially. They give you up to $35,000 to do any repairs, any upgrades to the house. But if you have a veteran that's struggling to get into a house, it's a great opportunity to make some improvements to stairs and doorways and that sort of stuff. So little known product, the VA renovation loan. Have you guys worked with any veterans or anything? Yeah. So I'm also a member of Homes for Heroes. This is a recent thing that I've gotten involved with, and it's a nonprofit organization out of Wisconsin, and I've agreed to give a $500 discount to any heroes, which include veterans, police, firemen, EMS, medical providers, that sort of stuff. So one thing I've been trying to do to give back a little bit. All right, moving on. Okay, the breakdown of the loan comparison, again, I'm going to refer to that sheet. It's a nice little breakdown. Shows some of the differences. A 203K limited is a 203K loan with $35,000 or less in renovations. Once we go up above $35,000, or if it becomes structural, then it becomes a standard 203K, and that's when you need a consultant involved. So a little cutoff here. This is the Fannie Mae Homestyle, which is the conventional loan option if somebody doesn't want to pay mortgage insurance or they qualify. A little lower DTI thresholds here. Most people fall into the 203K area, but it's certainly an option. And then the VA, as I talked about over here. Again, repairs only, no structural, nothing like that. Some of the types of repairs that are allowed on 203K limited in VA, basic stuff, garages, kitchens, bathrooms, energy conservation, painting, mechanicals, roofing, gutter, downspouts, and flooring. Again, 203K streamlined in VA, so that's $35,000 or less. When we get up into the standard and the home ready home style, you see, a larger variety of things that you can do, which also include pools and decks with the home style renovation. This is something that you can do. And major landscaping. So putting patios in, large projects, that sort of stuff. So, but you see a lot of the same stuff as we did before, except for structural alterations. This is where you get into a bigger project. You're changing rooms, you're adding a bathroom, you're doing that sort of stuff. This is where we see the standard and the home style project going on. So, some of the common misconceptions associated with renovation financing. The property appraisal will be a hassle. What do you guys know about the property appraisal process for the renovation financing? Anything? So we know how an appraisal works. You order an appraisal, the appraiser goes out and gives you a value on that particular property. In this case, we order appraisal, only after the quote has been given on the project, the scope of the project. And then the appraiser will value the property based on the existing property as well as the scope of the project and provide a valuation. We'll talk more in depth about that as we go on. Another misconception is that it's going to be too expensive for the client. We won't let it be too expensive for the client. They're approved for a certain amount of money and they need to fit into that budget. So, and the loan process will be long and may not even close. Definitely not true. We close constructions or renovations in 30 to 45 days, just like a regular close. So construction starts afterwards. So if the contractor and everybody's on point and getting things done, then we close in a reasonable amount of time. So we did have a problem with that contractor on the job I just talked about, but we got through it. All right, talking about the property appraisal. There is only one appraisal. The appraisal is completed on the subject to or after improved scope of the project, not on the current condition of the property. Repairs are made after closing, like we talked about. And in some cases with FHA, you can take a loan for 100%, 110% of the value of the property, not just 100%. So we'll talk more in detail about that. I'll show you some calculations on how we get to 110%. But this gives, we all know that it gives the opportunity for the closing costs and some other stuff to be wrapped into the cost of the loan. So the maximum, how to calculate the maximum mortgage is the lesser of the total acquisition cost or the after improved value. Acquisition cost equals the sale price plus the renovation cost. So if you bought the house for $150,000, you're putting $50,000 in. The total acquisition cost is going to be $200,000. We can go to 110% of that $200,000 if necessary to make it work, depending on the valuation. Again, it's a math breakdown. This is a home style. Home style only allows you to go to 100%. FHA allows you to go 110%. So sales price is $300,000. $50,000 is spent on renovations. Total acquisition cost is obviously $350,000. If the after improved value is $375,000, you end up with $25,000 in equity, which is sweet. But the maximum mortgage is calculated on the lesser of the two prices, so it would be calculated on the $350,000. Questions? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's not a hard process. It really is an easy process. It's a misconception that it's an involved process. The construction piece is obviously involved. There's a lot of work that the client has to do, a lot of decisions they have to make when looking at a property. But the loan process itself is quite easy. I do some open houses with clients or with realtors on houses that obviously need some work, and we'll go in and we'll set up renovation boards just to try to get the juices flowing and some ideas going through their heads. Because what I see a lot of times is people don't go into a house, buyers don't go into a house with the idea of renovation in mind. So when I'm there with a realtor, I'll have a renovation board up there with some ideas just to start the thought process going, to help you guys sell the houses. Once we get that process going, and if you're supporting that idea and planting seeds in their head, they start to run with the idea if it's something that they're open to. So, all right, back to what we were talking about here. So in an FHA case, similar acquisition cost, $350,000. If the after improved value is $325,000, that's what the appraiser came up with. Excuse me. We would be able to use 110% of an FHA loan value to get to our $350,000, and therefore they would be able to finance the majority of all this, giving them the opportunity, despite its value coming down, not appraising for full value of the renovation, we're still able to get that in because of the 110% that FHA allows. The misconception that it will be too expensive for your client. What is the real cost of homeownership? Mortgage payment, monthly utility costs, regular deferred maintenance costs, and unexpected repair costs. So these are some of the costs that were associated with not doing a renovation finance, right? You go into a house, you expect that things are going to break, that there's going to be a cost associated with utilities and that sort of stuff. But if you move into a home that's been renovated, your utilities have been upgraded, and all of those potential for things to go wrong on an older property, you kind of eliminate that unexpected cost. And this talks about some of those things. The U.S. Department of Energy says a typical U.S. family spends $269 per month on energy bills, with half of that monthly expense just to heat and cool their home. Regular deferred maintenance and unexpected repair costs. According to the Census Bureau, the American Housing Survey, $450 billion was spent to improve American homes between 2015 and 2017. And I won't continue to read that data. Any questions, guys? I know it's not like super exciting stuff, but there's an opportunity there. You know, I hate to read all this stuff. There's definitely an opportunity if the mindset shift can happen, and I can help in any way to kind of bring that along and get you guys thinking about these opportunities. Do you guys have any buyers that you're currently working with that have considered something like this?
I have friends that I was trying to do that with them because they couldn't afford what they wanted.
Yeah.
They decided not to buy. It was going to be an investment property for them, but definitely.
Do you think they're afraid to do it?
I think a lot of people can't see.
They don't have the vision, right?
They can't see what the property can be.
Right.
Or what the actual value is.
Right.
When it's completed. It adds another dimension to a first-time home buyer that.
Which is a lot sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Sure, I mean, it's daunting to think that you're going to go in and spend 6 months renovating a house. And yeah, there's this level of instant gratification. I mean, we talked before the meeting about Facebook, and everybody's in a mode of instant gratification and putting up this false sense of reality. But I think there's a good opportunity to talk to them about the opportunity to walk into a house that's theirs, that they made, that you made, to be yours.
Some of the clients that I work with, they tell them just because the kitchen's renovated, and if you don't like it, if it's not the way you would renovate it, you're paying a premium on somebody else's choices.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
gonna get you into a property where you're gonna have some equity in it, but you're gonna make it yours. It's gonna be what you want, instead of what somebody else wanted for their.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a huge project. You know, it can be a kitchen renovation. There's some pretty old, nasty kitchens out there in houses that are nice.
But you have houses where the kitchen's done and the
Yep.
bathrooms aren't.
Right.
Or the bathroom's completed because it's a smaller project, but your kitchen isn't.
Right.
You know.
And to upgrade a bathroom, it adds a ton of value. Those are the two probably kitchens and bathrooms are two of the hugest things to upgrade, which add a ton of value. That's what people want. So, and for, you get the millennials, some of you guys are probably millennials. I'm not any longer. Right? You guys are in this kind of mode, maybe not you because you're kind of in the real estate industry, you understand, but you're in the mode of, I don't want to plant any roots, I might want to sell or move or do that sort of stuff. But an opportunity like this is going to could potentially add instant equity. And in a couple of years, you decide to sell and move on, you kind of building a bank account for yourself. And you might as well pay yourself as opposed to paying a renter. So there's some good stuff there. So cool. Let's see if we can, how they create value. Okay, so this is some of the stuff that we're talking about. So utility upgrades and repairs made ahead of time and financed into the renovation loan. Avoid having the major costs, the unexpected costs, the costs of maybe, instead of buying a home warranty, you do the upgrades prior to going into the house. You change the heating system if it's old, new water heater, update the electrical, that sort of stuff. So you're getting into a house where or you shouldn't have any problems if the work is done properly. And just to go back on that, you need a licensed, insured contractor, cannot be a family member, and you can't do the work yourself. So it's really above board. You're getting the best of the best. It's the decision that you made, somebody that you choose, but it's required that they have they're licensed and insured. So you should be getting the best. Buyers will receive a positive return on their homes. Repairs and improvements provide a better living situation so the buyer can enjoy and be comfortable in a new home, and the home will be in better shape and worth more money. The loan process will be long and may not even close. Definitely not true. So the renovation loan process, borrower selects a property lender and the contractor. Lender receives the plans. We take the plans and get them approved. Then the appraisal was ordered. We talked about the bid and the house. We appraise it on the total after improved value. We calculate the loan amount. We underwrite the loan just like we would on a regular purchase, and then the loan closes. So it's very similar. We're adding in the contractor process. Like I said, contractors are typically really good at renovating homes and fixing homes. They're not really good at paperwork. So hopefully you get a good contractor that's good at paperwork and they're able to get their bids in quick. After the loan closes, and this typically is, like I said, 30 to 45 days. It's just like a regular close. Then the renovation begins. And typically it takes 6 months. If happen to be going into early winter and it's a bad season and you want to repaint the outside of the house, it may extend the process. Something weather related may extend it, but this is typically how the process works. It's really quite simple. But
Your team in New Jersey, will they work with a contractor?
Say that one more time.
If I have a contractor that's never done this before.
Yeah.
Your team in New Jersey is a contact. They can walk them through
Every step of the way.
bid process, scope of work, and all that.
Every step of the way. Yeah. They're really tight. There's 4 women. I can't even remember her name. Mona is the one I'm working with right now. There's Peggy. I mean, they're unbelievable. They've done this 100 times, and they're so tight with it. The renovation process, get pre-approved. So again, we're pre-approving borrowers just like we would in a normal purchase situation. All the same documentation. So. I'm not going to go over this stuff. You guys know the buying process. You find a home. I can't see anything over here. I'm going to skip through all this stuff. Appraisal process. So let me talk about the HUD consultant. So a HUD consultant is a person that is approved by HUD to help a buyer and a contractor through the process of building a quote properly. And then after the close is done, the HUD consultant is the person who goes out periodically throughout the scope of the job to make sure that the work is being done properly, to consult with the buyer in case there's any questions, in case there's any problems, and to approve the work that's being done. He's basically an appraiser, but he's just making sure the project goes smoothly. Communicates with my renovation team in case there's problems. Disbursements are sent to him to disperse to the contractor to make sure the work's being done properly and so on and so forth. So there is a cost associated with the HUD consultant. It becomes part of the fees. It's typically between $500 and $1,000 depending on the renovation cost. Dave, you missed a bunch.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, I'm good. I have a couple of
Yeah.
those, so mostly just little nuances of down payments and what they're allowed to do, and
Yeah.
that's where you come in and
Yeah.
and tell us what we can do.
Yeah, so down payment's the same. The down payment is based on the after improved value. So if your purchase price plus your renovation, 3.5%, 3% of that. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, licenses, insurance, references. The buyer gets to choose the contractor as long as they have insurance and all the proper paperwork. Won't be a problem. Used to require that you needed 3 bids. Not the case anymore, just 1 bid. As long as they're licensed and insured, which is huge because to get 3 bids on a $100,000 quote is a pain in the butt. Again, the HUD consultant fees, this is kind of a breakdown overview of how much the HUD consultant's going to cost. And some of the things that you can expect from that consultant is to meet the client at the property and kind of help them through the process, prepare a detailed broken down by labor. So he'll take the quote and break it down into a short, concise form to communicate to the renovation team. They review the bid and the scope of the work, provide it to us, provide the information to the client, answer any questions, and then as I said, the consultant is the person who does the inspections to make sure that the contractor is doing what he or she said they were going to do and make sure the project is going smoothly and to then disperse the money. As far as disbursement goes, so if it's a streamlined renovation process or a VA renovation process, it's typically 2 disbursements that are made right to the contractor and to the buyer. When there's no consultant involved, they'll get an initial disbursement in the beginning so they can pay for labor, some labor up front and some material costs, and then they'll get a final disbursement at the end. And with a larger project, the checks are made to the consultant, and then the consultant distributes the money based on how the work is being performed and if it's being done properly. So, and the larger the scope, the more disbursements, the smaller the scope, the less disbursements. I don't know why the renovation process clear to close. Let's see. Did I skip ahead? Oh, so let's talk about, so we got at the closing, typical closing, nothing happens. There's an escrow fund set up in the process. And it's typically 10 to 15% of the renovation costs. If you guys have ever done renovations on your own homes, you know that shit happens. You open up a wall and all of a sudden it's a mess and it's going to cost you some extra money. We anticipate that. We set up an escrow fund with a percentage of the renovation value for unforeseen problems. If nothing happens, that money gets returned to the buyer to their principal, so it buys it down immediately. You don't get a check to do some other stuff, to put the pool on that you wanted, but it goes right towards the principal, so it's a quick deduction, which is nice. But definitely try to anticipate problems so that there's no surprises to the borrower. Construction, we talk about construction begins within 30 days of the close. On a typical loan, VA has to begin within 15 days of the close. And then the draws, we talked about the draws briefly. And a draw is just a disbursement of the funds to the contractor. All right, some of the benefits for the borrower. One single mortgage loan, not a construction. This is not a construction or perm loan. So like we talked about, all of the costs are associated with the mortgage wrapped into one mortgage, so you get one payment. There's no additional cash investment after you get into your home. You get to customize the home for your needs, for your preferences, which is nice. Building equity, as I described with these borrowers in Groton who built $25,000 in equity in their house immediately. Reduce monthly payments, monthly maintenance costs because you have all new stuff. You're not going to be shelling out money to repair the water heater, do upgrades and that sort of stuff. And increase selling possibilities because in a couple of years you decide you want to move, you got a new job, you're going to go out of state, you have a new house that you can then sell to those buyers who are unwilling to do the renovation process. Benefits for the seller. So if you're going to be selling your home, these are some of the benefits. The property is in better shape, larger pool of potential buyers, so on and so forth. Some benefits to you as a real estate agent. I always like to highlight these. Provides a marketing tool for those less than perfect properties. I have some materials that I also ordered with the foam hammers that never showed up. Just some flyers that you guys can have out, some table tents that talk about the renovation process. It's just conversation starters for people, so they, if they do want to know the answers to these things. Differentiate yourself from the competition. We've been trying to educate people on this process for a while, but it's more work for you guys to talk about as realtors. You mentioned some realtors that don't even like to confirm appointments. To get them to start talking about these things is difficult. If you can get your head around some of the ideas associated with renovation, it's an opportunity to set yourselves apart and to sell more homes. Rewarded with more referrals. This has created a lot of referral business for me. By doing these seminars, people come to me because they know that we're the renovation lender, the preferred renovation lender. So you could do the same thing for you guys too. It's definitely an opportunity. Earn more commission income due to more sales per month. If you're selling more houses because you're offering this added service, this is a tool in your toolbox. This is a way for you guys to add more money to your bottom line. This is profitable for me too. I get paid on a percentage of the loan value. So this is increasing the loan value for me. I get paid more. So this is why it's a benefit for me. I don't get paid as much as you guys do. So any chance I can to raise the loan value, I'm going to take advantage of it. And be the facilitators of making dreams happen, because that's what we do. We make these dreams. It's a grind every day, but when it comes right down to it, we're making somebody's dream a reality. So embrace it. Some frequently asked questions. You guys have any questions that have come up in my very quick